What's good, Commanders fans? Just want to make a quick video here. I've been meaning to make this video for a long time. This one's not going to be studs and duds. It's really going to be duds and duds. Or this is really just going to be 5 adjustments that Eric Bieniemy should make, or 5 moves that he should make offensively. Not transactional moves like signing players, cutting players, or whatever, because he doesn't have the authority to do that. But just 5 adjustments on the field that I see from a fan perspective on Sundays. And we're gonna look at some PFF grades, so we'll do that really quick from the game. It's kind of pointless, but I just like to look at the numbers. You can take PFF the way you want to take it, but it's just something to look as a measuring stick. So of course, B-Rob graded as the highest guy, 82.8 offensive grade, 82.9 passing grade, 77.5 running grade, but his pass blocking grade was pretty darn bad with 24.9. Sam Cosme, 80.2. But I will say Kendall Fuller has graded really, really well recently. I want to say the numbers for him, like he's been a lockdown corner per Pro Football Focus, and he was a lockdown corner per Pro Football Focus. I want to say like 2 years ago too, but he's done a good job. I mean, he had the interception against the Bills, and you haven't really seen him get beat much at all. He wasn't really. I got to look at the tape and see if he was guarding Stephon Diggs a lot, but he's done a darn good job, and he has a tough test against AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith got after Kendall Fuller in that first game, the first Eagles game, but the second game I thought we did a better job on A.J. Brown for sure and a better job on Devontae Smith as well. So he definitely will be tested. He has a 91.9 coverage grade so far this year. Only 1 catch allowed and 1 interception this year, 4 forced incompletions. So Kendall Fuller's done a darn good job. The Cardinals, they had a bad, Josh Dobbs. He did beat the Cowboys, but it wasn't much of a test. The Broncos thought he did a good job. If he was guarding Jerry Jeudy, got to look at that as well. With Jerry Jeudy, we didn't let him go off, and then he was not guarding Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims was cooking. So Kendall Fuller has done a good job this year. We haven't really seen him getting cooked or following behind somebody like we have seen in the past. And he's had a hot start from the jump. So I'm really happy to see Kendall Fuller performing well. He's doing a darn good job. All right, so other guys that stood out. That's on the offensive side. On the offensive side of the ball, Gibson, he was a 50.2 off PFF grade. He was a dud for sure. 31.7 passing, 31.6 passing grade. And that's probably because the fumble he had, pass blocking grade, he had a 77.4. He did a good job. There were some drills that they did today. Scott Abraham from ABC 7 Sports, he showed it where they were tapping his arms with the pads. Now, they need to hit his arms harder than what they did in that video. And it is really not going to, they're trying their best to simulate a game. It's not really going to help, but it is kind of like Friday Night Lights where the dad comes in and he's just like, son, wrapping up his arms and doing all that. He keeps throwing the football. He just keeps slapping at the football. So it does remind me of the Friday Night Lights scene there. So Jameson Crowder, he barely played. Byron Pringle barely played. Cole Turner, 57.9. Andrew Wiley had a 67.5. So he was graded pretty highly by PFF, but he did give up a sack, early sack in the game. Not early in the game. It was like 2nd and 10 or 2nd 14. And the guy just runs under his arm. It was just like an Olay. Just let him go right by you. And he kind of did that in the Cardinals game too, where the guy did the spin move and got the strip fumble on Sam Howell. So Andrew Wiley has definitely struggled for sure. Curtis Samuel, 69.0. He had a nice catch. Terry McLaurin, 69.2, but he's just not getting enough targets. Our receivers are not getting targeted enough. Jahan Dotson with a 55.7. Sadiq Charles with a 45.7. Sam Howell was the worst graded offensive player with a 45.3 PFF grade, and he definitely earned that with 4 interceptions. Not all his fault, but he definitely earned that grade with the turnovers. Kendall Fuller, 92.1, the highest graded defender. Percy Bell, 80.1. Deron Payne, 70.7. Deron Payne played with some effort. Montez Sweat, 70.7. Now, the defensive line, we didn't get any sacks. We did get pressures, but once Josh Allen started running, they just kind of eased up and they got scared for him to use his legs. We didn't use Jamin as a spy as much as I thought we should have, and Josh Allen hurt us running. He only ran through 3 times, got over 30 yards rushing, and then after that, we just didn't get much pressure after he started running the ball a little bit. Emmanuel Forrest had a 55.2 PFF grade, 49.0 coverage grade, probably because of the Stephon Diggs catch in the beginning of the game. That was just a tough pitch and catch by Josh Allen. Chase Young, 56.7, 38.9 tackling grade. And that's really it that stood out. Cody Barton, once again, with a low grade, 44.8. He's had some really bad grades through the first 3 games of the season. And those are the only numbers that really stood out. Everybody else was kind of mid-tier via the PFF grade. So, all right, so let's come up with some of the adjustments that I want to see. Run the football, man. Like, we're not going to be the Eagles when we come out there throwing the ball. Like, look at the percentage, like, run-to-pass ratio in the first half. Look at the Denver game. Look at the Cardinals game. He's just dropping Sam back way too much, a young quarterback. He's playing him like he's Pat Mahomes. Like he's just supposed to be out there and be Houdini and make guys miss and throw the ball downfield. It's not going to work here. We have an identity. He needs to use the identity that we had last year, running the football with B-Rob, playing keep away from the Eagles, grinding them out. Even if it is, like B-Rob was averaging 3 yards a carry in that Eagles game last year that we won on Monday Night Football. It's not about hitting home runs. It's the long game, the long run. Sometimes you have to win some games ugly. You're not going to go out there and put up 30 points like you were doing with the Chiefs and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. You got to play the long game here with a young quarterback. You got to take chunk by chunk, not big chunk, but chunk by chunk, play by play, establish the run game. And when you have a running back having 7 yards per carry for 70 yards off of 10 carries, you look at the numbers, you do the math, you got to run the football more. And that's Scott Turner stuff. And that's what really, really aggravates me from Eric Bieniemy. And he was a running back in the NFL and in college. Colorado, legendary, Hall of Fame college running back, great running back, or a solid running back in the NFL. Good special teamers as well. Should he bench Andrew Wiley? Should he put Cornelius Lucas in? Or should he put Sam Cosmi to right tackle and then put Chris Paul at right guard and you have Sadiq at left guard? Do you have to bench Andrew Wiley? Andrew Wiley has been an underwhelming offseason signing from the Chiefs. And Andrew Wiley wasn't great with the Chiefs either. He gave a bunch of pressures and sacks. And Pat Mahomes was able to be Houdini and make something happen, make something shake because, he's Pat Mahomes and he has the magician throws. So Andrew Wiley has been a disappointment so far at right tackle. So it's something to think about. Cornelius Lucas, you could put him in at right tackle. Cornelius Lucas would probably be an upgrade over Andrew Wiley at this point. And that's how bad Andrew Wiley has been. The spin move, he got spin moved on by the Cardinals and gave up a strip fumble. So every game, the Broncos game, he struggled, gave a sack. Now, Andrew Wiley, there's a stat that I found on Andrew Wiley. Most sacks allowed in the NFL. Andrew Wiley is tied for second with 3 sacks given up. Andrew Dillard is number 1 in the NFL with 6. So Andrew Wiley is right behind. I wasn't able to find the pressures given up stat, but Andrew Wiley is tied for second in sacks given up in the league right now. All right, run the football, bench Andrew Wiley. That is an option. Take out all the deep drop backs, the 7-step drops. This is going to be a Carson Wentz game if he does that. 7-step drops. And I'm going to say the same thing in my preview, but if he keeps doing that, 7-step drops, long developer routes, Sam Howell is going to be sacked 100 times. He's on pace to be sacked 107 times this year. He's on pace. If he keeps going the rate we're going, he's going to be sacked 100 times, over 100 times this season. Target Jahan and Terry, man. Get these guys the football. Get these guys the football in space, whether it's a screen, whether it's a slant, quick game. Get the ball out quickly. Get the ball out quickly out of Sam's hands. Quick hitters, quick plays. No more of these long development routes. And I know you're going to do them from time to time, but you got to get the ball out of Sam's hands quick. What happened to the screen game against the Bills? What happened to that? It worked against the Broncos. What happened to the screen game to B-Rob? Gibson, I don't trust him anymore, but still, the screen game to Antonio Gibson, that worked as well. You look at some of the numbers for Jahan Dotson. Through 3 games, Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson ranked 60th with 16 targets each, and that's awful per Ref the District. Shout out to those guys. I've been on their channel before. That's really disrespectful. It is really disappointing because we all expected a breakout season from Jahan Dotson, and the season is still very, 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 very early, but it's been a slow start for Jahan, slow start for Terry. These guys are so talented, and they got to get touches. You look at Jamar Chase last night in Monday Night Football. They just kept feeding him the ball. Devontae Adams had over 10 receptions. They kept feeding him the football. The best players, A.J. Brown got fed the football on Monday Night Football as well. They just keep feeding their guys. When you have a top 10 receiver like Terry, you got to feed him the football. You got to manufacture targets for him. And there was a stat that 45% of the routes are the most covered in the league. Like, guys are not getting open. Is it the route running? Is it the route concepts? Like, what's going on? And I know Eric Bieniemy, this is his first time being, offensive coordinator on his own without Andy Reid. So there's going to be growing pains. I understand that. So there's just some adjustments that I see that definitely should be made. Jahan Dotson needs to get more touches. He's too talented to only get three touches. And Sam Howell, he missed Jahan. He was wide open. Is it on Sam Howell? Is it because the offensive line has just been so awful? There's a combination of things, but you got to manufacture touches for Jahan Dotson. He was wide open for a touchdown in the Bills game, and Andrew Wiley gave up pressure. So I give Sam a little bit of leeway there, a little bit of grace, because he did have a hand in his face, but he might have locked on his first read. All right, quick slants. I already talked about that. Less deep drop backs. Limit the slow developing routes and run the football, man. Quick game of passing plays. So that's about it that I got for you guys. Injury report, really, they haven't really officially came up with one yet. But Logan Thomas, he did participate in practice today, so we'll see if he comes back. May not make that big of a difference, but, we'll see. And in the red zone, he's got to use Sam Howell as a runner. Look at the Cowboys game, how Sam Howell ran for a touchdown. Look at the Arizona Cardinals game where Sam Howell ran for a touchdown. Use him as a runner in the red zone. On the 1 yard line, there were so many opportunities that we had to run a different play, or how about, a nice fade route to Cole Turner or something like that. But we did a gun run with Brian Robinson up the middle. Just a predictable run, predictable plays in the red zone. So, and Eric Bieniemy did a good job against the Broncos last week in the red zone. So, it's a week-to-week league. Let's see if these guys can bounce back. Let's see if Sam I Am can bounce back. And let's see if Eric Bieniemy can bounce back for sure. So, I think that's all I got, really. Jahan's got to get more touches. Terry's got to get more touches. They're just too talented, man. They're way, way too talented. And you got to look at Andrew Wiley right now and evaluate him and see how he does this game against the Eagles, which is going to be a tougher opponent, in my opinion. Their D-line has more, more known guys on their D-line than the Bills did. The Bills didn't even have Von Miller, and we got cooked like that. So it is definitely discouraging with the offensive line for sure. They are a problem. It is a problem, and they may have to make some changes on the offensive line for sure. So those are the 5 adjustments that I could see Eric Bieniemy making. I don't think he'll bench Andrew Wiley. It would take a lot to happen because that's the guy that he brought in. But yeah, so and they just don't have enough speed at the running back position. They don't really have a home run hitter. They don't really have one. They don't really have one to bench Gibson at this point. But if he keeps falling, he just can't play. And they may have to consider benching him too. And Jared Patterson, unfortunately, he got signed by somebody else. They may have to bring up Derek Gore or look for another third down back in free agency at this point. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Any adjustments that you guys want to see Eric Bieniemy make or Sam Howell make. Like I said, this is just my perspective from a diehard fan. Hello, Commanders. Peace.